You have spent time taping your flower stems together, but they just keep falling apart? In this video, I'm going to talk about how I prepare my faux flower stems before making a bouquet. By the end of this video, you would know all the tricks you need to get smooth and durable joints for your flower stems, plus other details that you will need to look out for during the preparation process.
Hello, my name is Janet. I'm passionate about silk flowers. I want to help you decorate your home and wedding to create memorable moments. Silk flowers come in all sorts of shapes and varieties, and sometimes they come in as multi-stemmed flowers rather than single flowers. They are great, but sometimes you just need the flexibility to be able to arrange each single flower individually in your bouquet. This is when you need to cut your stems strategically. Have you thought about how you cut your stems would affect the durability of the joints when you tape them on extra pieces of stems later on? This is something that a lot of people have overlooked when they try to put their stems together. Without further ado, let me show you how I do it.
Let's start with something simple. Here I have a stem of spray rose that's 43 centimeters tall. Let's say I just need a tiny dot of red somewhere in my bouquet, so I need to divide this into two. Now I need to look at the length from the branch point to the closest leaf on the branches to decide where I should place the cut. As you can see, the branch on the left is 2.5 centimeters long and the one on the right is 7 centimeters long. I would say 2.5 centimeters is not a good number here because I would need at least 2.5 centimeters to make the joint. In a way, I would say the bigger the number, the easier it would be for you to work with later on. Ideally, having more than 7 centimeters would be sufficient for you to make the joint. So I would be cutting the longer branch off, and that will leave me one long single stem on the left. And because the leaves below the branch point may get in the way during the bouquet making process, I would remove them. I would also remove the thorns to keep the surface of the stem as smooth as possible. Then let's move on to something more complicated. Here I have a stem of cabbage rose that's 93 centimeters tall. If you mainly work with fresh flowers, you will probably place the cuts at these points. That's because you want to get your cut stems as long as possible to maximize the flexibility for arranging flowers. I get that. Cutting this way would be perfectly fine for fresh flowers because there's no wire inside their stems. However, for faux flowers, the wire inside the main stem will be exposed for these two L-shaped bits, which wouldn't be very nice. Most of the time, I would try to avoid exposing the wire inside the stems. That's why I would cut at these points. That will leave me a long stem in the middle and two shorter stems that I will need to work on. And for the bigger flower bud, I would save it for making corsages or boutonnieres, and I would get rid of the smallest bud and the extra foliage down at the lower part of the stem. After looking at flowers, let's quickly talk about foliage. Here I have a stem of eucalyptus that's 90 centimeters tall. It has 4 branches. Like how I said earlier for the cabbage rose, I want to cut the branches off from the main stem without any L-shaped bits, so I will cut at these points. That will leave me 2 long stems and 3 shorter stems. Now I hope you have got a pretty good idea for where to cut your stems when you need to divide them. Let's move on to tools that you need for cutting and joining your flower stems. You will need some pliers, leftover or excess stems that you've cut from other stems, and floral tape. Before showing you the demonstration of trimming stems and joining them, I want to introduce you to a wood joinery term called half-lap joint. So what is a half-lap joint? According to woodmagazine.com, a half-lap joint consists of two workpieces reduced to half of their thickness where they lap over each other.
I have found this relatively easy joinery method perfect for joining stems. Since I'm not terribly good with words, I've spent some time making this animation to help explain why.
The number one advantage is the thickness got halved at the joint, resulting in the same thickness throughout the whole piece after joining. Secondly, the half-lap joint can avoid the workpieces twisting diagonally. For woodworking, we call the areas where the workpieces would overlap cheeks. The cheeks provide a large surface area for gluing the workpieces together. Because the cheeks are parallel to the edge of the workpieces, after gluing, there's no way the workpieces can twist. We could possibly get the same effect by making half-lap joints and glue our trimmed flower stems together, but I would prefer using my good old floral tape.
That's all for the theory, and next I'll show you a demonstration of me joining a piece of eucalyptus to another stem to extend its length. If you have found this video helpful for you, please give the like button a lovely tap for me. Let me know down in the comments below if you've used other joinery methods that also work well.
Carefully snip open the plastic coating of the stem with the tip of the pliers, with the flat side of the pliers facing downwards. It could be tricky at first, but try not to cut into the wire. The aim is to trim off about 2.5 centimeters of the plastic coating for the cheek. When trimming, try your best to make the cheeks as flat as possible. You don't need to go very deep, but you need to trim half the thickness of the stem away. Now you can see I'm pretty much done with trimming this stem, and I'm going to do exactly the same for another stem. Here you can see I'm checking if the cheeks are flat enough. Ideally, I want them sitting comfortably together, just like perfectly matched puzzle pieces. Usually, it would take me 2 or 3 times to get the cheeks trimmed perfectly. Now that the stems are trimmed and ready, let's bring out the floral tape. I would start taping around 2 centimeters above the cheek and press down the floral tape. I keep spinning this stem clockwise with my left hand while pulling the floral tape consistently with my right hand. I start off with 1 or 2 rounds horizontally, then I start pulling the floral tape diagonally so it could spiral downwards. When spiraling down, I make sure the tape slightly overlaps with the tape from the previous round. When using floral tape, remember to pull it with consistent pressure because its stickiness would only be activated when it's pulled and stretched. When the tape reaches the cheek, I bring in the other stem. Now I'm pinching 2 stems together at the same time, spinning and taping the joint. If you have difficulty holding the half-lap joints together with your fingers, you could consider gluing the joints together before taping by using hot glue. Keep taping until you have taped at least 2.5 centimeters down from the joint. You could go all the way down if you think that part of the stem will be exposed outside the ribbon bouquet wrap. When you think there's enough tape, simply apply pressure downwards and the tape will be torn. Just press the end down and it will stick pretty well. It may look messy, but this is the best way to have the end of the tape stuck at where you want it to be. If you use your scissors to cut the tape, the end won't stick well because the tape doesn't get stretched enough. After taping, the joint is secure. Even when I try to peel it apart or try to bend the stem, it stays the same.
That's it for the half-lap joints demo. But before I wrap up, I have one more quick tip on dethorning roses. Most of the time we would hold the bouquets in our hands close to us when taking pictures. And the last thing that you want would be the thick fronds catching the netting of your wedding dress or the veil. So I think I should show you how I dethorn my roses.
I'm using this piece that I've clipped off from the cabbage rose for the demo. You can see it has quite a lot of thorns. When I cut it, I get as close as possible to the surface of the stem with the flat side of the pliers. This gives me a much smoother surface than using the other side or using other types of pliers without this angled head. I believe it's called diagonal wire cutting pliers. It has been very useful when I cut branches off the stems as well. I highly recommend investing in some nice pliers if you haven't already got some.
Now that you know how to get your flower stems prepared, you probably will want to learn how to make a bouquet next. I've already prepared a video for you on how to make a hand-tied bouquet, in which I've shared a lot of tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. I will see you over there.